So I'm sure you see a lot of shifting and changing both in the personality and attitude and aura of the horse and of the riders that you work with. Is it kind of symbiotic? Did one and the other bleed through to one another?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, when we work with people, it's funny. Like I said, we're about a 5-session series. It varies a little, horse to horse, but we would say on average most horses get about 5 sessions, and that lets us go all the way deeply through the whole structure. But somewhere around usually the 3rd session, the rider notices that the horse is pretty balanced for the first few days, and we usually say, don't ride for a day or two. Just let the horse kind of get back in their own body and, really move everything and find out what the horse can do on his or her own. And then the rider gets up on their back. And, riders can be pretty unbalanced, and that high center of gravity that a rider puts on the back of a horse, if that rider is, always putting their weight in their left leg more than their right leg, then that's like sitting there walking around with a backpack that's got a boulder on one side, not on the other side.
And you don't even think of that because the horse is so big that you're thinking, man, how could I be doing this horse any harm? But really all you need is a couple pounds off on one side or the other, and I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, exactly, and that's what your trainer is going to be saying. Hey, get your weight even on both feet, on both legs. Get your weight balanced. And so if your trainer is always telling you to do something consistently time after time, the imbalance in the horse often can be directly attributable to the rider. So, people can use some work too. We don't do that on people, but some of our practitioners have been trained in instructional integration for people, and they do. There's a number of different things that are really good for learning that, a lot of different modalities from Hellework to Rolfing to Feldenkrais to Alexander. They're all about structure and balance. So good stuff for people to learn too. But, the thing is, if you've got a consistent rider, then your horse has developed consistent compensations to accommodate your imbalance. Ooh, we don't like hearing that, though.
Well, that's usually the way that it works. I mean, the horses, I find, are much more flexible at realizing that there is something to be learned than the human is. We'll just keep banging our head up against that wall.
Yeah. So I was going to read you one of these things that one of our clients said about after she got a series. This was really nice, and it's in her words, too. She said, I got my thoroughbred off the track. He went with his head high, and he hollowed his back. His right side was very underdeveloped, and he was a long-term project. My chiropractor recommended this work. I was skeptical, but after the 2nd and 3rd sessions, Nick started rounding his back up, accepting the bit, and moving his shoulder much more. I'm so glad he had the series. He changed dramatically. After the last session, I had a whole new horse. My dressage scores have come way up, and his jumping improved. He now lifts his entire shoulder area over the jump, not just his knees. And months after his last session, he continues to get stronger. That's what we're looking for.
Exactly. And I see this picture. Is this her that's right next to that on the website that you read?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Beautiful confirmation. He looks like a pro.
Yeah, and where he came from, he did not look like that.